Hello and welcome to the VickyCharles.com podcast, for those of us who need just a little help with our blogging and social media. The show notes for this and all previous podcasts can be found at VickyCharles.com/podcast. And at the moment, I'm giving out free social media tips. Just go to VickyCharles.com/social-tips and fill in your details, and then I'll email you 3 personalised action points for your social media. You can also sign up there for my mailing list. This week's podcast, number 51, is 7 ways to use video on Facebook. So let's get on with it. So welcome to episode number 51 of the VickyCharles.com podcast. This week's episode is 7 ways to use video on Facebook. Now, in episode 50 last week, I basically went on and on about how much I love video and I think everybody should be using video. So this week I'm just going to give you a few ideas of how you can use video on Facebook to really, ramp up your page and get a lot more engagement. So my first way to use video on Facebook is to give people tips around your niche. So if you are a baker, obviously you don't want to give away everything so that people don't need to come to you. And that's people are generally, they get scared of that, if I give people too many tips, they won't need me. They'll always need you because you can always do a better job because you've been doing it for, Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours and they've just started it. They're not going to be better than you. So don't worry about that side of it. People will still come to you. You'll still always have customers if you're doing a good product. But give people tips around what you do. So if you're a baker, you would say, here's a video of how to knead bread, or here's a video of this, or here's a video of us making our this, things like that. If you're a makeup artist, you could do tips on how to do eyeliner perfectly, tips on how to choose a mascara, tips on how to choose a makeup brush, how to wash your makeup brushes, all of these things. There's so many different tips you can come up with, and you can always crowdsource as well and ask people, what do you want to know about my job? What do you want to know about what's interesting about what I do? People will usually come up with a whole load of questions, and you can then use those to make videos of tips for people within your niche. My second way to use video on Facebook is funny musings. A couple of weeks ago, I posted a video on Facebook where I told people to post videos solving problems and things. And Jess from Mrs. Helicopter Writes posted a fantastic video, which I will link to in the show notes, of her way of solving problems. And it was so funny, it was brilliant, and I'm sure her Facebook engagement and reach will have gone up as a result of that video. So if you can be funny, if you can do funny things or say funny things, pull funny faces, give a funny response to something that's been in the news today, anything like that, it's always worth putting that into a video rather than writing it down if you can. And you don't need to do some big, production video. You can just get your mobile phone out and prop it up in front of you. When I first started doing videos, I genuinely had a big stack of books with a hole punch on top to lean my mobile against, and that's how I made them, which is why my videos look so fantastic. They don't need to be perfect because it's the content people will be interested in for the most part. My third way to use a video on Facebook is to solve a specific problem, no matter how small it is. If it's something specific that you have managed to overcome, then there's going to be somebody out there who's interested in how you did it. So if you're a dog walker and you've discovered a way of making sure that dogs never run off or always come back when they're called, then include that. Do a little video about that. If you're a baker and you can figure out how to get cakes, so that they rise exactly evenly, oh my God, video it and send it to me, I need to know. Anything that you can do that, no matter how small it is, something that's very detailed about your profession, about what you do a video about it and solve the problem for somebody. They will thank you for it. My fourth way to use video on Facebook is tutorials and how-tos. Now, I said in the previous one, solve a specific problem, but with this one, you would go a bit deeper. So rather than say, I do this by using this and this, you would actually show people to use screen flows or, I don't know, like a time-lapse video or something to show this is how I've done this, this is how I made this, step-by-step instructions. Step 1 is this, step 2 is this, how to do this, blah, blah, blah. It might be a slightly longer video, you might need to time-lapse it or do a bit of editing to make it look a bit more professional. But tutorials and how-to videos are really useful, and people will always be Googling, how do I do this, how do I do that, so they're likely to find your video in that way as well. My fifth way to use video on Facebook is testimonials. If you're running any sort of a business, testimonials are what you need to get more business. Go to your customers, ask them if you've helped them, and ask them if they'll do a little video in exchange for a plug for their company. So they would then do a little vox pop with their little head pop up and say, before I met Vicky, I didn't know how to use Facebook at all, and now I'm king of Facebook. and then you would post that video on Facebook with a little tag for their Facebook page, so they're getting the credit for it as well, and they're getting a link back to their page. Hopefully it will get them some more publicity, so they should be happy with it, and you've got a testimonial from somebody saying how fantastic you are, which is how you'll get more business. I'm going to try and get some of those on my site, so watch out. My sixth way to use video on Facebook is just as a welcome to your site or a welcome to your page. So Facebook now has the option on the left-hand side of saving a video at the top there as a welcome to your page. Welcome to my page. My name is John and I sell dogs for a living, whatever. That's a really nice way so that when people are first visiting your page, they can see this video rather than just trying to figure out who you are or looking at your profile picture that might be your logo and looking at your cover photo. It's just another way of introducing yourself to people, making yourself seem like more of a human and more somebody that they'll want to talk to and interact with. My seventh and final way to use video on Facebook is to repurpose old blog posts. If you wrote a blog and it was 7 ways to wash your dishes without any smears, print it out, read it through a few times in your head, to yourself, and then make a video of it and stick it up on Facebook. Why wouldn't you? The sad fact is that only about the 6% of your fans on Facebook see what you post. So they probably didn't see when you posted that one link to that blog post a year ago. And probably in the last year you've gained more than a couple more people, more likes on your page who never saw that post in the first place. They've never seen that post, and even if they had seen that post, they won't mind seeing a video of you doing it. I will say here, don't sit and read it out because that looks awful. You need to know your content. So rather than kind of trying to memorize the whole post, maybe put a sticker, like a sticky note on the wall behind your camera with your 7 main points and read them out. And kind of, you just need to know your topic beforehand so that you're not reading from notes, so you can just read out tip number 1 is blah blah blah, and then talk about that and talk about why it's an issue and why it's a problem and how you can fix it and blah blah. Tip number 2 is blah blah blah, so that you're not reading it out. If you're reading it out, people can tell that. When I first started my podcasts, I was reading stuff out and they sounded diabolical. When I first did a couple of Periscopes, I was reading out blog posts. They were even worse because you could see me reading it out and it was terrible. So if you're going to do it properly, read it through a few times in your head, make sure you know what you're talking about, then set your camera up, put a sticky note on the wall behind you, behind the camera, so that nobody else can see it, and so that when you're looking at it, you're not looking down or away from the camera, you're looking kind of near the camera so that people won't spot it so much that you're looking at your notes. And just kind of, so go for it. So repurpose any old blog post, and you could really do that with a lot of blog posts because, again, even if people have already read the blog post, they're going to enjoy seeing a video. I would say, again, don't make it too long. Facebook tends to favour videos that are around 2 minutes, so maybe make it a shorter, much shorter version of the blog post, and put a link to the full blog post in your comments or something like that, so that people can go across and read more about it if they like. So those were my 7 ways to use video on Facebook. I do hope that I've given you a few options and a few ideas for using Facebook for your blog or business. If I have, and you decide to post a video, do please either tag me in it. My page is vickycharles.com. Or just post a link to it on my page so that I can come and see it. I'd love to see how you get on. I'd love to think I've inspired maybe 1 or 2 people to post a video. And don't forget to look in the show notes for a link to that Mrs. Helicopter Writes video, which was hilarious. Thank you so much for listening to the vickycharles.com podcast. The show notes for this and all previous podcasts can be found at vickycharles.com/podcast. And don't forget that at the moment I'm giving out free social media tips. So if you go to vickycharles.com/social-tips and fill in your details, I will email you 3 personalised action points for your social media. You can also tick the box on that form and join my mailing list, where you will be sent a free download of social media tips. And you'll be on my mailing list, so you'll get loads of cool stuff sent to you. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll be back next week.